gray, but never am I on blast. O my Lord, in my prayer to thee. Message to Zachariah. Zachariah has something to do with this, the one who gave birth to John the Baptist, who paved the way for the coming of Christ. So it's written here things about Zachariah. And what it says in, let's say, 7, if you can read on, I'll just point out a few. You go to read from 1 to 15, but I pointed out his prayer for the sake of the video. His prayer was, this verse 7, his prayer was answered. O Zachariah, we give thee good news of a son. His name shall be Yahweh. That is John the Baptist from here. On none by that name have we conferred distinctions before. He said, O my Lord, how shall I have a son when my wife is barren and I have grown quite decrepit from old age? Doubting that a wife is barren and is old, how can he have a child? And he says, so it will be. Thy Lord saith, this is easy for me. I did indeed create thee before when thou hast been nothing. So the assurance was coming to him to sort of having the child. John the Baptist going to be born. It's all said and written in this book, of the book with might, and we gave him wisdom even as the youth. Now it is similar. It's slightly similar to the story. Next comes the story of Jesus and his mother. Then it comes to the story of Jesus and the mother. That but the slenders of all that, from 16 to 14, that is, relate in the book the story of Mary when she withdrew from her family. So if you start reading from 16, from the same chapter of XIX, you finish 1 to 15 and you continue from 16, you get the story of Mary, Jesus' mother, when he withdrew from her family to a place in the east. He withdrew and went to a place in the east. She placed a screen to screen herself from them. Then we sent to her our angel, and he appeared before her as a man in all respects. She said, I seek refuge from thee to God. Most gracious, come not near if thou dost fear God. He said, nay, I am only a messenger from the Lord to announce to thee the gift of the Holy Son. You can see the slight difference, but at least it's talking about the Mary story. She said, how shall I have a son, seeing that no man has touched me, and I am not unchaste? He said, so it will be. Thy Lord said that it is easy for me, and we wish to appoint him as a sign unto men and a mercy from us. It is a matter so decreed. So she conceived him, and she retired with him to a remote place, and the pains of the birth drove her to the trunk of the palm tree. Now, this is Mary. It doesn't go and talk about the Joseph side yet. Joseph, Mary went somewhere. He separated himself from her family, and that's where she ended up having a child. Now, I don't know how this story cannot directly be related to what is in the Bible, but there is similarity of them telling the story, but different approach. They are all telling it in a different way, a slightly different way. Some of them are in the same context, but some of them comparable are in a different context. Now she is having a child under a palm tree, and she went to the east to have a child. I mean, along the line, Mary and Joseph had to go to the east when they were cutting. Pharaoh was giving them troubles and all that. And but this does not go details of Joseph and her going and all that, and how he has to confess to Joseph about having a child. It's just something quite slightly different. She was told she was going to have a baby, and she doubted it, and somehow she had a baby. Most holy, she embraced the idea. Actually, it wasn't like Zacharias where there was doubt. She embraced the idea, and from what the answer that she says, "What, most gracious, come not near." No. She said, "How shall I have a son?" She doubted, seeing that's on XIX verse 20. How shall I have a son, seeing that no man has touched me yet? She was a virgin with no man touching. How can she have a child? She also doubted because she has no man touching her. Mary was complete virgin. Now, it links with the Bible's approach of the story. But there are still slight difference of where she's going to have a child, going to the east and all that. It's not details of that nature. It's just the bits and pieces that has come out in that sense. Okay, and now this is the book which reveals this is how the book reveals a storyline, and you can compare them to the Bible. You can have Abraham stories that you can link. You can have stories about intercourse, sex offense to be punished in public, and stoning a woman to death. At that time, the Jewish were doing the same thing. That's how it is here with the same thing. A rule that tells them to stone women when they sexually offend, gave offense to, they have to be stoned in that sense. Why? I don't know. Evil pay no evil back. In it's that time men rule the world. Men make decisions, and so women were somehow underrated or somehow looked down upon. And for so many ways, women were they had to be treated with that more responsibility, more state of which the man had to give guidance to the woman as to way of life. So men were there in that respect, not just for the children, for the woman too. After death, there is no going backward towards till judgment. Moses, all the things about Moses, it's all written. I think I was saying the Yahya was Jesus. No, the Yahya isn't. The Yahya was John the Baptist. I have to correct that. It's not so, but actually Jesus is referred to differently in the Islamic sense. I haven't got that yet, but I'm sure as we go through it will come up, and I'll got that and I'll point it out to you as well. So it is comparable in so many grounds when it comes to what the Bible says. And it's obvious that the two of them have some relations in every way. But the two of them cannot be coming from one God. And they all making that claim does not really mean that they are from God. Now, today's life, we have some views about our own way of doing things, which, according to the faith, Britain claiming to be a Christian country, maybe now they say they are multicultural, but it's more of a Christian country. What is there about them in their laws and everything they do that makes them a Christian country? I don't find any. You understand? I don't find any. You go to the Islamic world, the same thing. They say so, but they are not so. God teaches them to be very peaceful, but they choose to do otherwise. They are not so peaceful. They claim the same storyline which Abraham was speaking. We can see Abraham's stories and Joseph's stories and all that. And we are seeing, talking about Jews and all that. And we can